I need you to knock some sense into me. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoy listening to you. I don't always agree with everything.
All right. Enough of this persiflage.
So, you want my question?
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
That makes great sense. Gosh, that's good.
Did I overwhelm you with words and wisdom?
I've got 7 kids. I feel like I could call you every day.
Wait, you're telling me I'm wrong? Disconnect.
Yes, I am, Dr. Ray.
You just need to tune in to Dr. Ray, honey. He's got all the answers.
Am I right or am I right?
Probably.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
I keep trying to correct that man, Steve Clark, from the hometown of Mother Angelica Studios, Canton, Ohio. No. Today again, I have the privilege of being in the EWTN studios down here in Irondale, and across from the plexiglass is lovely and youthful Vanessa. And, of course, there in Ave is Andrew Kruchek, my producer man, and Eric Dumont, call screamer. And I noticed something. I did a little arithmetic. I totaled up all 3 of their ages, and it doesn't equal mine. Yeah, I know. I had a birthday recently, and there were 55 candles on the cake. And that was the piece I had. Kept trying to blow the candles out, but the heat kept driving me back. Still, I'm not laying brick, so I can sit in this studio and talk to you, and I can see clients and nod my head and say, uh-huh, I see. Oh, tell me more. What I wanted to do initially is start charging people for ICs. You know, you could get like, your first 5 ICs is free. Then after that is $0.25 a piece. And then if I say something like, that sounds affirming, that's expensive. That's like $1. All right, so I'm going to basically just start charging for the kind of self-affirmation sort of things I give to you. But anyway, down here in Birmingham, doing some recording of a book, my most recent book, How to Get Along with Almost Everybody. We're putting that onto, is it Kindle? Vanessa, is that what that's called? Kindle? Or what do you do when you, I don't know. I used to say, I'm putting them on CD. Well, that shows my age. Actually, I wanted to put it on cassette or 8-track or vellum. Anyway, if you'd like to get onto the program, it's a call-in program, and you are the caller, I'm the callee. I get so many emails from these agents and folks who want their particular book on the air, and in fact, that is rare on this program. What's much, much, much more common is talking to you. You're the guest. You make the show. Without you, I have no fodder. I have a mudder. Remember that old Abbott and Costello routine? The horse has to eat his fodder. No, he's a mudder. So the mudder has to, anyway. So given all that, who's on first? Given all that, you are the fodder for this program. And that's a good word. That's a good word to use. 877-573-7825. 877-57-EQUAL. I would welcome your calls, whether they're about circumstances in your life, people in your life, situations in your life, emotions in your life, struggles in your life. I don't know, just stuff. Doesn't have to always be bad. It can be good stuff. You can call in to give an uplifting thought or an insight on the human condition. You know, I get a lot of books from you folks. And because you call in and you say a lot of things that I jot down, and I keep them, and I put them in books, and I make a lot of money. Thank you. Thank you very much. I might even mention you in the next book. To all the people who gave me these ideas. 877-57-EQUAL. You'll get a hold of Eric Dumont, who picks up the phone and says, thank you for calling. The doctor is in. Now, Eric, you usually say, what is your question? Why don't you say, what is your question or comment? Or you could even say, what is your disagreement with Dr. Ray? Why do you think he sounded dumb on that last call? Something like that. 877-57-EQUAL. I was a grad student, and as a grad student, oftentimes I was an internist for one of the professors. And the professors would design experiments, and these experiments would need somebody to do the grunt work, and I was the one who did the grunt work. That was when I worked cement work. I worked cement work in between my graduate degree and my undergraduate degree. And the guys who did the actual cement work were the artists. They knew how to do this stuff. I did the grunt work. I shoveled the gravel. I carried the steel forms. So in psychology, I just kind of did the same thing, the grunt work. Now, the interesting thing about psychologists is that for all their talk of transparency, they're tricky. Very, very tricky. Much of the time, their experiments are not what they tell their subjects. That's psychology talk for people. What they mean, what their intent is. I saw a fascinating study just recently. Here's what they did. They told people, they set them up for interviews. Now, the people knew these were staged interviews in the sense that the interviewer did not know that they were staged interviewers. The interviewee knew that they were, and they said, we're going to put a scar on your face, a rather pronounced scar. Put it on with some kind of makeup. You can do this. We want to study to see if facial disfigurement is a significant factor in being rejected in an interview. Okay, sounds straightforward enough. Before each person went in, they said, "Oh, wait, we just got to do a little touch up here on the scar. Just please sit here." Now there was no mirrors, okay, so the people didn't see what was going on. We do a little touch up. In the touch up, they removed the scar. Now people didn't know the scar was gone. They went into the interview. Afterwards, they interviewed each of the people. Post-interview, the psychologist conducted an interview and said, did you sense that there was bias because of what appeared on your face? Now keep in mind, the interviewees didn't know there was nothing on their face. They thought they were going in with a scar on their face. Many of them said, yes, I sensed it right away quick, that they seemed to be preoccupied with my face or my looks. And they even made some comments that I think were kind of backhanded comments that were sort of subtly alluding to my disfigurement. One person even said they came out and directly commented on it. Now, what was the reality? There was no disfigurement on their faces. The study was designed to see what a preconceived notion would do to somebody's remark, how to interpret somebody's remark. This has massive implications for our society. Someone, for example, who is hypersensitive to what they might see as bigotry, or hypersensitive to some kind of intolerance, or hypersensitive or hypervigilant to any kind of offense, is much, much more likely to hear it or experience it when it's not there. The scar was not there. But the people going into that interview thought, I'm going to see if in fact this affects the way this person deals with me. If in fact this person is focused on my supposed disability. Much broader implications for interacting with people because we tend to hear what we think we're going to hear. If I think someone is by nature a biased person towards certain religions, certain skin colors, and they make comments that, in fact, wouldn't be judged bias by an independent poll of 100 assessors, I am more likely to hear that remark as biased because I expect them to talk that way. Those people going into that interview expected the interviewer to have a hard time not noticing their facial scar, when in fact there was nothing to notice. 877-573-7825. Definitely want to hear from you. You got questions regarding that kind of preconceived notions, comments, or something about the stuff of life. 877-57-EQUAL. Looking forward to talking to you.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
How does the First Commandment encompass the virtue of charity? The Catholic Catechism says it commands us to love God above all else and to love all creatures for Him and because of Him. There are numerous ways to sin against God's love. The sin of indifference neglects or refuses to contemplate divine charity. Ingratitude refuses to even acknowledge divine charity or return to God love for love. Lukewarmness is hesitation or negligence in responding to divine love. Spiritual sloth occurs when a person rejects the joy coming from God and is repelled by divine goodness. Finally, actual hatred of God denies His goodness and curses Him as the one who forbids sin and inflicts punishments. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism.
Location, location, location. These are the three most important factors in real estate. The same might be said for colleges. Trudging through snow to get to an 8 a.m. statistics class is a much different experience than breezing by a palm tree to the raucous applause of a laughing gull. With the average temperature of 84 degrees and wetland nature as your backdrop, it's no wonder students tend to stay once they visit our campus. Ave Maria University, your future location, location, location. Visit avemaria.edu.
Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Ray Guarendi, with my lovely associate Vanessa on the other side of the plexiglass, and Andrew Kruchek, producer man, Eric Dumont, call Screamer Man, who's talking right now to, looks like Mariah. I don't know if you can call the wind that. Remember that song? They called the wind Mariah. Vanessa, she's 20. Vanessa, what are you, 25 years old or something? 24? 22? What the heck? My ball glove is twice that old. 22. I remember 22. I do. I remember 22 because it was so easy to remember that. I think World War I had just started. Yeah, it wasn't. I was a little scared about that. Does Mariah want to talk to me? See, Mariah may be as young as Vanessa. Hi, Mariah.
Hi, Dr. A.
Hey, thank you for the sweet call. Is this your first child?
Yes, it is.
All right. Hey, you know what? This is okay. I'm going to tell you this. When I was in college, I couldn't get like any of the cool girls to sit at lunch with me. You know, I couldn't get any of the girls there. I was just me and the guys. And I thought, well, how do you do this? How do you get these young girls to talk to you? And then I realized it. You have to get a PhD in psychology. You have to get your own radio show. And you have to get a perplexed mother who's not sure how to handle her kid. And then she wants to talk to you. Well, that wasn't that hard. Why didn't I think of that back then?
Yeah, that'll do it.
You know, well, your son, I'm sorry, Mariah, and please don't take this as insulting. I don't mean it that way. Your son sounds very immature.
Yes. Well, he is only 1 year old.
Oh,
so.
That could explain it.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of fits is he throwing, dear?
It's nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, it's just, last night, mostly during mealtime, we were having fajitas, and he saw the sour cream and just kept pointing and screaming to the sour cream and would throw everything else on the floor. So my question is just, I know it's normal, but
what do I do about it?
We can, to just not encourage that behavior and to discipline him in the appropriate way.
Oh, Mariah, you don't need me for this. Don't let him have the sour cream. And he could be, you may not be interpreting this correctly. He may be commenting on your cooking. This could be, 1 year and how many months?
Just a year. Mm-hmm.
Oh, just a year. Okay. Now that you really are in the never discipline land, in the sense that one of my books I talk about the 3 S's, especially for a kid 1 or more, maybe 1 up to a year and a half. Supervise, sidetrack, and stop. Okay. For example, you basically pull the high chair back so that he can't reach that stuff. Or you keep it out of his range. If he's at the table, you make sure that there is a zone of nothing for him to grab or throw. Now, if you want to say, when can I start disciplining him for this? Most parents, maybe say around a year and a half, will maybe remove him and put him in a playpen or sit him on the steps. And of course, you have to enforce that because most 1.5-year-olds will not sit willingly on the steps. So you'll have to make that happen. You can just simply pull his chair back away from the table. So, in fact, there's nothing to throw. You can do that. You can give him 1 bit of food at a time. I think the deeper question for you is, maybe I'm wrong here, and maybe this is why young girls at college didn't talk to me. You're not losing any discipline time by not actually disciplining him, by sidetracking him, by supervising him. So I did get that right. You're thinking, okay, wait a minute now. He's starting to act bratty. Yeah, but a 1-year-old acting bratty, you can't really call it bratty. You got to just call it 1-year-old. They just do stuff like that. They have no sense of what they can do and what they can't do. Whatever's in front of them, they're going to do. You have to minimize damage. It's kind of like taking him to church. Now, you know as well as I do, church is tough. With a 1-year-old, oh, come on. Unless he's playing peekaboo with the cute lady behind him, he's all over the place. And as long as you can keep him somewhat aimed toward the front, not under the pew, but when he starts to scream, you got to walk out of there. You know that. And that's why I always tell parents with 1-year-olds, sit in the back. And they'll say things like, well, but I want him to see what's going on in the altar. He's not paying attention to anything that's going on in the altar at age 1. If there's spit in front of him on the pew, he's going to be more fascinated with that because it's immediate. So I would say, don't you worry about that. You just minimize the stuff he can do to cause disruption, and then at some point you can start sitting him somewhere or putting him in a playpen or even strapping him in a car seat. I think my oldest son, I first did it when he was about 16 months old, something like that. I put him on the steps, and he looked at me like, What are you doing? What is this? Get your hands off of me. I mean, he couldn't say that, but that was the look. Now, with my 10th kid, I think I disciplined her finally when she was 17. I don't know. I think it was just because I got tired. I don't know. I told her things like, you finish your 4 cookies before I give you another pint of ice cream, you know.
Okay, well, that's helpful. Yeah, I just wanted to, like you said, make sure I'm...
Yeah, you ain't losing any
right,
time. No. You're not letting brattyhood settle in at all. No. Once he gets old enough to you start do something about it, that's when you start teaching him that. But this way, 1-year-olds are tough. I always tell parents, my least favorite discipline time was between 1 and 2. They're too young to have any sense of what they're doing, and certainly as they close in on 2, you can do stuff. There's no question about that. My little grandson's 2 years old, and I watch his dad and mom discipline him because he throws these little fits, and they pick him up and they put him somewhere, and he just sits there like, well, can I have a television or something? You know. Well, good luck with that little one. What's his name, Mariah?
Fulton, after Fulton Sheen.
Oh, is that nice or what? See, I thought you said Colton, and I'm thinking, nobody names their kids after saints anymore, but you named him Fulton. That's really nice. Very good.
Thank you.
Well, so at least at this point, he's not a saint yet, is he?
Not quite, but we're working on it, aren't we?
That's wonderful, honey. You enjoy this. The first one is always kind of special in the sense that it's the only child you've had that is just you and them. If you have another child now, you're going to have 2, and so it was not just mom and son. Now it's mom and son and daughter, or mom and son and daughter, whatever. Thank you, dear. Thank you for the call. All right. Bye now.
Thank you, Dr. Ray.
Okay. Thank you. See, I told you, Vanessa, I could get girls to talk to me. Very easy to do. You know, the thing about it in college, though, some of them did talk to me. So I get a call. I get a call from the really cute cheerleader. And she say, "Hi, Ray, this is Tiffany." And, of course, I got all stumble-tongued. I didn't know what to say. I had to go, "Hi." I'm really smooth at getting conversations going. See, I was wondering, maybe we could get together Saturday night and do something? I said, sure, that's cool. Yeah, because I'm going to go out with Biff, and I was hoping you could do my math homework while I was out. So that's kind of what I did. And, every once in a while I got to talk to girls because they had troubles with their boyfriends. And, so they knew I was in psychology. So they'd say, "Ray, can I ask you a question?" That's pretty much it, 877-573-7825. Got to tell you, we are heading again back to Buffalo for the taping of Living Right with Dr. Ray. We were in Buffalo probably about 5 years ago now. Station of the Cross, and those folks came out in droves, absolute droves, to our studio. We're using a studio that's a public station studio, the 19th and 20th of August. Now, if you go, I think they've got it up on the Station of the Cross website. If you would like to be part in that studio audience, and special treat, Father Larry Richards is going to be with me both shows on the 19th, on that Tuesday night, I believe it is. I have to double check that. It's either Tuesday or Wednesday. I got to double check one more time on that. He'll be with there, so he'll be a great draw. He's part of every show when we have a little part called Living the Faith, but he'll be there live. So go to the Station of the Cross website. They've got the sign-up sheet already gone. And I'll tell you, the last time we were there, they just packed that audience. Couldn't believe it. They must have thought it was Father Mitch's show, EWTN Live. 877-57-EQUAL, that's the number. This is Dr. Ray. studios of EWTN. Dr. Ray Guarendi, the program The Doctor is in Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Most recent book, How to Get Along with Almost Everybody. You can get it at the EWTN catalog. You can get it at Sophia Press. You can get it off my website. It's signed on my website. Not signed by me. It's signed by one of my kids, but you don't know that. No, it's signed by me. All righty. Let's go to Teresa, calling from Ohio. Hi, Teresa. I forgive you, Teresa.
Oh, thank you. I was going to call you Father Ray. Dr. Ray,
if I were a father, Teresa, I'd have real power to forgive you. You know what I mean?
Well, I have something in common with you because I'm one of 10, and I know you have 10 kids. So there we are.
Now, what is this about you not being able to forgive yourself? What is that all about?
Well, this is a toughie. I might fall apart.
That's all right.
A couple months ago, a friend of mine was not doing well, was sick. He had cancer, but he had many surgeries, came out okay. He was doing well, and his sister was basically telling him to leave me alone. So I gave him a space. I wanted to be fair. And I wasn't a Klingon or anything, but I would always, over the years when he was sick, she was never around, and I was always making dinner, taking care of him, doing, the good thing, We had a great relationship.
Is this just a friend here? Teresa, is this guy just a friend?
For me, yeah. I mean,
okay.
We were dear friends for years. Anyway, he wasn't doing well, and his family would never bring him food or anything. So I went over there and I said, hey, you want some food? He ate it. He was grateful. He ate it like he hadn't eaten in years, and he wasn't doing very well. So I said, why don't I call 911 and we'll go to the hospital. It'll be fine. He said, no, let's just see about tomorrow. Well, the next day I reached out to him and said, are you doing okay? And he didn't sound good, so I went over there just to check on him. I said, do you want me to bring you dinner? He's like, no. I said, okay. So I went over there. He did not look good at all. And I said, come on, I'm going to call 911. And he said, no, let's just give it one more day and see how things go. Well, it didn't sit well with me, so I called his sister and I said, look, I'm at the house. He doesn't look good. I'm going to call 911. And she went off on me and told me to leave him alone. He'll land on his feet. Leave him alone. Well, he passed away that night, and I can't forgive myself.
Well, I got a question. What did you do? What did you do wrong?
What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
Nothing. I don't think I did anything wrong. And everyone tells me that I was like the only one there for him through it all.
Well, what was there, Teresa? What was there to forgive?
Well, because I should have just listened to myself and called 911. To heck with her, right?
Well, no. Here's your problem. It wasn't her. He said no.
Yeah, he did say no. You
can't overrule him. He said one more day.
Yeah.
You didn't have any right to overrule him.
True.
No, you didn't. But here's the other thing. Okay, now let's deal with this particularly, and then we're going to deal with it generally.
Okay.
So somehow you were holding yourself accountable for the fact that this man passed away. If you want to put it under your watch, that's safe to put it that way?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, because his sister said, I will take full responsibility for whatever happens to him. And that didn't sit well with me, but of course, we're not married. We didn't have that bond, and, I have no authority. If that was a spouse, it would be different. It would just, I'm calling 911. That's it.
You're right. You didn't have the right to do that, especially when he said, wait another day.
Right.
Okay, that's the first thing. But secondly, there's a second thing here. I'm going to say this really bluntly, my dear.
Please.
Do you think you killed him?
Well, don't think I did.
Good.
Indirectly, maybe? I don't know.
See? No. How can you indirectly kill somebody?
Well, because everyone's got a cell phone. How hard would it have been for me to just call 911 and say, to heck with his sister?
Well, you ain't saying to heck with his sister. You're also saying to heck.
The next day when he...
You're also saying to heck with him. He's the one who told you, not yet. So you could make a case. You could say, well, his sister said, get away. But see, here's the other part of this, and forgive me for being a shrink. Obviously, his sister thinks that your charitable acts toward him were inappropriate and intrusive, and she didn't like it, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I don't know the history here, and maybe she's thinking that you're trying to get in good with her brother because you really like him and you got a crush on him and whatever the reason, and she just, I don't know who she is, and I don't know why she would be so upset at you trying to be a friend to him. I have no idea. If that's all it is, if you're trying to be a friend with him, and she can't understand that, then there's something going on probably with her. Okay, so that's first thing.
Okay.
Second thing is, you see the power of misguided thinking? Your misguided thinking was, if I would have ignored his request to wait another day, and if I would have ignored her demand, stay away from him, I would have called 911. Now, here's the question. If you would have called 911, given what you said about how ill this man was, how much difference do you think that would have made?
I guess that's the unknown. I mean,
yes, it is.
And of course, I can't save anyone, right? I can't save anybody. None of us can.
Well, if you ain't going to forgive yourself, honey, you better make sure there's something that you ain't forgiven. By any stretch of the imagination, there's nothing to forgive here.
Okay.
You see what the mind can do to you?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oh, my dear. Okay, I'm holding a pencil in my hand. Now, if I take this pencil away from this desk, and I say, Teresa, if I let this pencil go, it's going to drop. And you say, no, it's not. I say, Teresa, it's going to drop. Gravity, from our experience, says it's going to drop. And you say, no, it's not. What I'm saying to you, Teresa, is you're saying no, it's not, is as wrong thinking as you saying I did something terrible and I can't forgive myself. It's the same thing, my dear. I'm hoping you get over this soon. You deserve it, and you thank God that you had a chance to be with this man. Thank you for joining me. Let's take one more call. 877-57 is the number. Maybe two more. Still got some time left. We've got some open lines. It typically doesn't happen. So maybe it's the summertime, maybe it's warm weather, whatever it might be. Maybe I'm a jerk. Didn't want to think about that. 877-57 is the number. The doctor is in. It's the only show in all of Catholic media that can take days off your purgatory, because I can be so irritating to listen to. And the more irritated you are, the more days can come off. And, of course, you have to keep listening. And the worst thing that can happen is that you lessen your irritation and you actually become, well, attracted to the show. Then you lose your days off purgatory. So you don't want that to happen. Stay irritated having to listen to me. Okie dokie. I want to make a couple comments on forgiveness. In Teresa's case, what that dear lady was doing, she's really putting the blame on herself. Heavy putting the blame on herself. And apparently I was not the first one to tell her that she bore no responsibility here. She said, did you hear it? If you were listening sensitively, you would have heard it. She said, other people have told me this. Now, maybe I carry a little more weight because she thinks there's letters after my name. But she really had locked herself into this idea that somehow she was responsible for all this. Hopefully I'm just another voice that helped push her into a little bit of peace regarding all that. Well, I want to go to Nancy. Nancy is or Eric, is Nancy ready? Or is he still typing it up? Almost. All right. Nancy's calling from Ohio. It's her 22-year-old daughter who basically has said, Mom, don't you dare have contact with me on social media because politically, Mom, ugh. Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Dr. Ray. Thanks for taking my call.
You know the good news. I don't have to tell you the good news here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe. The good news is you don't have to give your daughter any money because she doesn't like you.
Not the truth.
It's like, what? So what is this? Okay, she shuts you off from social media, then she says she wants money?
She just says, can we go grocery shopping? I've already spent a lot of money on her. I've always given her what she wanted. And then she just, hangs up on me when she doesn't like my opinion about supporting Trump and stuff. So she's a...
You're just not allowed to have your own views, Nancy. Do you know that, don't you?
No, that's right. I can't tell her how I feel. She gets mad and then she comes back and wants me to buy her stuff.
So do you then do it because you think, okay, she'll like me now?
No, I haven't done it yet. I just kind of said I'm busy. I didn't tell her the truth how I really feel because I don't want to distance myself from her. But I don't know.
Whoa, wait. She already distanced you.
Yeah, that's true.
How much further distant you going to go? What if you said this, Nancy? What if you said...
She's spoiled. She's been born with a silver spoon in her.
Okay, so you're looking back on it and you're going, oh, boy. Okay, that's all right.
It's my fault.
Well, all right, and at the time, you had your motives, you had your reasons. Maybe they were misguided, but you didn't really fully understand it then. So the one thing we're not going to do, I ain't going to do it, you can do it if you want, is to beat ourselves up. That's it. You're not going to do that anymore. You're not going to say, I spoiled her rotten, and this is what's looking back at me. Yuck. No. Just, okay. Now, that said, here's what you hang your hat on. As much as you may have spoiled her, she had to know you loved her. She had to know that in all that materialism and whatever it was in your parenting that let her get away with stuff, you loved her. So that's still there. Now, what if you told her, you know what, sweetheart, I don't understand something. You can act like you don't understand it, okay? I don't understand something. You don't like the way I think about a lot of things. And you don't like them so much that you kind of blocked me. So why would you think I would give you money? You could do that. Now, I think I know how she'll react. Do you know how she'll react?
She won't like that.
Right. You won't hear from her for 3 months.
She won't even care about how I feel.
Right. You won't hear from her for 3 months. That's exactly right. Now, you got a decision to make. At this point, are you saying, okay, enough is enough? She can't treat me this way through the neglect and the hanging up on me and all that kind of stuff because I don't do exactly and think exactly the way she wants. Now, given all that, you decide. Is the spigot going to be turned off or ain't it? And if I turn it off, well, I think she's not talking to me now. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible, Nancy, that one of the reasons she's still got some contact with you is because every so often she asks you for something?
That's basically the only time I hear from her, really.
Okay. I was trying to be gentle about it, and I knew that was the answer, but I wanted to hear you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got a decision to make here, dear. The decision is, okay, are we going to have a mature relationship without me being your sugar mommy or not? That's it.
Right.
You know, sometimes, honey, in situations, you don't have a good choice and a bad choice. You got a less bad choice.
Yeah.
That's what you're faced with.
I thought about just saying, okay, I'll do this one more time, but at the next time, I thought about this. I thought, well, how about, okay, Mary, this is how I feel. The next time this happens again, this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Instead of looking backwards, I could look and say, hey,
don't do this again.
This hurt my feelings when you did this, blocked me, blah, blah, blah. You never said said I'm sorry for hanging up on you. And if this happens again, I'm just not going to give you what you asked for. Does that seem like a fair thing to do?
Sure it is. But here's what I would say. Keep in mind, if you do that, she may be smart enough to say, okay, well, I won't do any of that stuff anymore because I want the money to keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to get boundaries here.
Yeah.
I've got to get stronger boundaries.
Yeah, I just saved you a bunch of money, you know. I could at least send a little bit my way. Look, I'm going to tell you what, we're going to put you on hold. They're going to give you the address, and then you can just send me a check.
Okay.
Not this time.
Good.
Not this time, but I'm going to go grocery shopping, and I will send you the bill.
Okay.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for the call, dear. Bye. This is Dr. Ray.
Underwritten in part by the following nonprofit.
Are you paying high prices with a traditional health insurance company that pays for things that violate your conscience? There's an alternative available. Solidarity HealthShare is a community of faithful individuals and families that never share into immoral medical services, all while saving you money with prices starting as low as $85 per month for singles and $512 for families. Never fund another abortion with your healthcare dollars. Call 844-313-4999 to learn more.
The Heart of the Interior Life with Elizabeth Jangle.
In the 8th rule of St. Ignatius of Loyola's 14 Rules for the Discernment of Spirits, St. Ignatius encourages us to be patient in an experience of spiritual desolation. What type of patience is St. Ignatius inviting us to? He writes in Rule 8, "Let one who is in desolation work to be in patience, which is contrary to the vexations which come to him." St. Ignatius understood the very real struggle within the human heart to be patient while experiencing the trial of spiritual desolation, an experience that can cause us to doubt God's plan of loving goodness for us. St. Ignatius invites us to a patient endurance during spiritual desolation. Father Timothy Gallagher writes, "A faithful patience that will not surrender in time of trial, but which actively and courageously perseveres until the trial passes and peace of heart returns."
For more information, visit AveMariaRadio.net.
Underwritten in part by the following nonprofit.
Do you feel as though life is flying past you? Are you desperate for a way to find moments of peace and quiet? Lord, Teach Me to Pray, the free Ignatian prayer series, will open your heart to His voice, to the peace you are seeking and the only love that fulfills the human heart, Jesus. God is calling you to true joy, knowing Jesus personally. Lord, Teach Me to Pray is free. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com, click on the red box, order the Lord Teach Me to Pray series now. Go to LordTeachMeToPray.com.
Thank you for joining me, Dr. Ray Guarendi here. Let's go straight to faith. I was reading in it was in Catholic radio today that somebody's name is Faith. You got to go straight to them, especially if their name is Hope or Charity or Chastity. You got to go straight to them. Faith, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Ray. Thank you for taking my call. I'm an Ave Maria Radio in Detroit. I have a comment regarding your previous caller who felt guilty that she didn't call 911. In my experience, actually, my brother was taking care of our mother at home. He is a nurse, and she had a stroke. He called 911, and they came out, but she told them, I do not want to be transported, and legally they could not transport her, even though she was severely ill. So because her patient or her friend told her, no, I don't want to go, even if she would have called 911, most likely they would not have transported him.
If she would have had durable power of health attorney, or if she were a guardian, like your brother would be, if he were a guardian or durable power of health attorney, he could have made that happen. But you're right, they apparently figured she was of right mind, that she said, I'm not going anywhere. Now here's the thing, difference, possibly faith with him. He told Teresa, not today, tomorrow. Now we don't know if that was basically saying, I'm not gone and I'm just putting you off, or in fact tomorrow he would have gone, or if they would have shown up today, if he would have said. But you're right, that's a very fascinating, enlightening observation, that your mom, who had a stroke, probably a significant one, right?
Yes, it was.
And she still,
in fact, later she died of it.
And she was conversant enough to say, no, I'm not going. Yeah.
Correct.
And she,
yep.
I don't know the laws. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's different, but it just sort of as a result, when she died, and she didn't want to go to the hospital because she was afraid, and she hadn't seen a doctor, and so when she did die at home, the police came because she wasn't under the care of a physician. So my poor brother got hauled off. And they had to call me to say, did he murder her? So the poor guy, he had kept her alive, and there are consequences. But in any case, you are correct that he may have gone tomorrow. It sounded to me like he was putting her off because this was not the first time she asked.
Yeah,
so,
sounds like it. Well, Faith, thank you for the information on this. That's I think I knew it, but it's good to have it confirmed. Thank you on that.
Okay.
All righty, dear.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Molly, if you have enough kids, you're going to get one in there that causes a disproportionate share of friction. Right, Molly?
Pardon?
If you have enough kids, you're going to get one in there that causes a disproportionate share of family friction. Are you still there, Molly? I hear the radio in the background.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, hon. You might have to turn your radio off.
Yep.
Because I know if I say something dumb, I don't want to hear it twice.
I enjoy you immensely. I look forward to every day at 1 o'clock. I miss you on Saturdays and Sundays.
Well,
you lighten up my life.
Shame on you.
Talk about your wife, your family, your kids. It's so enlightening. I wish I lived next door to you.
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty bad there, with the kids roaming around and stuff,
I'm old now, and I lost my eyesight due to botched-up surgery.
Oh, Molly.
I've been blind now about a year, and it's hard. I have to depend on so many people. I feel like I'm 60, that I can do things, but losing the eyesight, I feel like I'm over 100. But besides, get off of me, I have an elderly son. He is so smart, but he tries, he helps, he would be very helpful, but he comes too strongly towards his brothers and sisters that it's his way or no way, that he knows everything. He's got the education, which he is smart. So I'm just wondering if there's a book I can give him that he can read and mellow a little bit.
Well, there's a book that I just put out. It's called How to Get Along with Almost Everybody. Now, I don't know if he'll read it, because in his mind, he probably thinks he doesn't do anything wrong. He figures that he's smart and he's going to lord it over him. But maybe that book might help your other kids to get along with him and to more or less tolerate his superiority complex.
He does. He comes strong, but when he comes with his little granddaughter is now, I think 5 months or 6 months. Oh my God, he's a different person. He's like Saint Joseph.
Yeah, there you go. All it took was a kid. Yeah, all it took was a kid to give him a little therapy. But the book I would recommend is How to Get Along with Almost Everybody. You can get it from my website. It's signed and it's discounted. So it's at drray.com, Molly, DRRAY.com. I got to go. Thank you so much for listening to me, folks, here in EWTN. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you. Walk with God.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.